Well, Senator Enyinaya Baribe, Chairman Senate Committee on Media and Information, joins us via phone to shed some light on some of the controversial points making the rounds about that sitting, which we played previously, just now, preceding that of the House of Representatives. Morning, Senator. Thank you for joining us today. Looking through some front pages and some commentary in different quarters, perhaps not too far from that motion by Senator Abdul Negi, where they were talking about postponement of all electioneering activities. What does that mean? Are they calling for postponement of elections now?
No, but no. Yes. Good morning.
Morning. Go ahead, please.
Nobody is calling for a postponement of elections. What you saw in the clip that you just showed was contributions that were made to a motion on the state of insecurity and what to do about it. Usually when there's a debate, people can make all manners of suggestions during the debate and you will hear all manners of things. But after the debate on a motion, what normally comes out is the resolutions from that motion. And the Senate position is the position regarding to the resolutions. And the resolutions, there was no mention at all of a postponement of elections. What the resolution stated was that we support a declaration of total war against the insurgents within that primary area of the Northeast and the rest of Nigeria. And then setting up a mandate to the Senate leadership to go to meet with President Jonathan and work out whatever is needed for the prosecution of this total war against insurgency. That is exactly what happened that day.
But one of the key things that seem to be out there in the public in terms of what they need is funds to prosecute the war. And they've got a request before the National Assembly. And what's happening to that?
Yes, the request is receiving attention. The process is... Yes, Chamberlain, the request is receiving attention. The process is that the request is referred to a committee. And in this case, two committees were requested to look into it, and the committees were given 1 week to come back with their report. They are the committees on finance and the committee on and local debts, because it's going to be a loan, so it's going to be a debt that the country will have to pay. Within a week, the committee will come back with the request, and then the Senate will consider it, and will vote on whether to approve it or not, and that should be by next week.
Well, a lot of people seem to be disappointed that, that request was made and the Senate didn't think to come back, from recess to review it, especially in the light of what was happening in the Northeast, even though you admit that we're in a state of war. Senator, did you hear me?
Yes. Let me say this, that in as much as we'll be very, very happy to quickly approve the request of Mr. President, but we're not going to bypass the normal process. No matter what happens, you must go through the process. Otherwise, it will be illegal. So that is just what is going on. But I don't think that 1 week is too long a time for us to take to consider this process.
The question was, the Senate didn't think it was, expedient enough for it to come back from recess to consider it before its resumption time?
Well, I think that Yes, Mark, what happens really in this instance is that the government itself that made the request if they had also seen it as something that needed that urgency, they would have also approached the Senate leadership and asked for a recall of the lawmakers. Yeah, if the government itself didn't see it as that, I don't think that it's the Senate's position to go ahead and preempt the processes that the government itself have put in.
What would you be saying to the people now that the Senate leadership has said, well, this is total war? If you were to speak to your constituents, what would you be saying on this particular matter?
Well, I will of course put the question in front of my constituents. My constituents are also affected by the war. As you know, there is no part of Nigeria that we don't have our constituents, those of us from the southeast, living in. So there are people who have also returned from there, and they also constitute a measure of pressure to their relatives back at home who have to cater for them. You know, and people have lost businesses. People have also had to relocate their children to other schools and so forth. And so everybody knows that when you declare total war, what it means actually is to put the whole economy on a war footing to be able to defeat this insurgents. And the position of the Senate is that we can no longer continue to feel that this is something that is confined to a part of Nigeria, that this affects each and every one of us within the country called Nigeria, and that there must be a national effort to deal with this.
Would it be out of place, Senator, to also suggest that we consider that any country that perhaps aids any of these groups, be it in Africa or beyond, against Nigeria, we may just have to maybe pull our economic string against some of these countries, because there are allegations or speculations that some countries are also aiding and abetting this insurgency?
Well, I do not think that it is out of place. What happens really is that when you have given the president full war powers, that will include both military and economic sanctions against whoever. Because somebody who is aiding and abetting the insurgents is also declaring war on Nigeria. That's what we're saying. And nothing is off the table at this moment.
Okay, one more point which one imagines that, who knows, the Senate or National Assembly may also consider upon this resumption is the draft constitution. Or first of all, the National Conference, they came up with a wide range of issues. Is the Senate going to look at what they've done, and what does the Senate hope to do with it?
The Senate and the National Assembly will, of course, wait to get executive communication from the president on what has come from the National Conference. That is the process, and we are waiting. And that you can be certain that when we have the executive communication from the president in terms of either a bill or any other thing, or an amendment to the existing constitution, we will surely consider it.
By the way, Senator, I mean, have you or the Senate heard about this arguments making the rounds about this INEC's plan to create additional 30,000 polling units? Is the Senate going to be in the front burner anytime soon?
I'm pretty certain that the committee on INEC is looking into it, and I'm very sure that because it's a topical issue now, and it's an issue that very many people are feeling very strongly about. Very many groups have condemned it, and of course, INEC is making its own robust defense on it. That the INEC committee will probably engage INEC to look into the matter.
All right, thank you for speaking with us this morning, Senator.
Okay, it's my pleasure.